Either team. Now what's this one? Is this the one I was thinking of, maybe? No, I'm playing as Finarfin. Huh. Where are we? Okay, anyway, this I saved this. Okay, I remember this. Yes. Right, cool. So I named this one 3v3 choke. So I knew it was something to do with maybe a tighter space, and I'm pretty sure so this is a 3v3 with the bulk of the fighting, or at least the most intense parts of the fighting, happening around this area. So that's quite cool. Playing as Finarfin, which is a bit unusual for me, I guess. Usually if I'm playing as an elf, I'll play as Doria, but Finarfin sort of matches my playstyle pretty well as well, I think. Anyway, got my archers of Haleth out front. What, 1, 2, 3, I suppose? Yep, 3 of them. Behind them, some wardens of Nargothrond, and then some swordsmen of Haleth. I like my swordsmen. I do. You know, my sword ward is always cool, and I love that we have javelins for them here as well. Got my bridge wards tucked in alongside them. Some defenders of Haleth behind them too. Again, more javelins is always fun. The Sartor and the Arqueni. And that's about that. So you're very, very basic, very simple army, I guess. No marksmen of Nargothrond? Suppose not. Because I'm relying on my javelins to get the work done, I suppose, rather than any of those fancy split shots. I love this little position here. That's quite nice. Just in case I forget to sort of grab a shot of anything else, who knows? Could be just a cute little formation. But hopefully I'll get some action when we get crushed into the middle. We've got the Dwarves alongside me today. So we've got the Naurgrim of Lewin, played by Panthan. So he's got his Iron Guildsmen, some Halberdiers along with them. Looks to be that's going to be the bulk of his front line. Some miners in the back. There's quite a small unit, missile unit. Do these guys throw? Assuming maybe like an explosive charge or something, considering a lot of sort of the wacky things that we see being thrown, and maybe it sort of is like the blasting charges type things that we see in Warhammer. The catapult crew there, quite a small catapult crew really, but for 4 artillery pieces, I mean, of course the dwarves are quite competent at controlling these things. Some beast hunters there, some dual axes, a bit more fearsome or a bit more wild, I guess. Some axe throwers of Nogrod with the general in with the High Thanes. Ooh, the High Thanes of the Halls of Pearl. Very cute. Very, very cool looking guys, of course, with those dwarven face masks. Naurgrim are, of course, the first dwarven faction that popped into Selm. I know that there are now at least 2 in the current version of the game. But yes, we'll see. Anyway, got Alfie again aligned along with us. So yeah, same team as we had for that Hamlet fight, actually. But of course different factions. We've got Ulfang today. He's got his Eastron nomads out front to do a bit of skirmishing. Some despoilers behind them. The raiders too, so they're not horse archers, no, they're like lance cav there by the looks of things, or maybe spear cav, I couldn't quite say. They might have an anti-cavalry bonus. Some thanes, a bit more solid sword and board, or what, axe and board. Sons of Ulfang, let's go to 0.1 speed for now, yeah, I think. Sons of Ulfang, as I say, thanes. Over on the far side here, we've got the raiders again, and more despoilers. So lots and lots of cavalry for Alfie. Well, not lots and lots, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 units of cav. A lot of people do pack on a lot more than that, but even 5 is too much for me to handle. Gondolin is our first adversary today. He's played by Buzzard, sort of set up perfectly to pour shots right into Alfie, straight off the bat. But mixed in amongst that capital crew, we've got the shield bearers. This guy are already preparing their spears and that for those downward strikes. Then we've got the phalanx of the king, some guardsmen of the heart worked alongside them to give them those shields, axemen of the pillar, then champions of the fountain, lords of the golden flower. Ooh, some guys popping up, some scouts of the tree there with their little slings, I suppose, little sling turtles. Over here, champions of fountain again, of course. Knights of the Golden Flower, and that's 2 units of them, so I'm pretty sure that they're sort of dedicated lancers, by the looks of it. Decent bit of armour on them, maybe. Stewie, playing as Fingolfin. Today he's got his herdsmen of Hithlum, some marines of Vinyamar, some sons of Hurin, marines of Vinyamar there, and a little catapult crew mixed in with some of these Armahatter? We'll see. Anyway, we've got swords and shield boys anyway. The Fjordsmen of Dorlowen, so we do have some humans there alongside the sentries of Hithlum, so some pikes too. So yeah, definitely, well, kind of certainly what he'd want for this choke point, along with another catapult from Stewie. So you can already see here we are definitely, well, we do have one catapult from Panthan. It is a dwarven catapult, but we are definitely outmatched slightly, artillery-wise. Over here, some more Fjordsmen, Herdsmen, Marines of Ingemar, and in the back here, some Lancers, and the Arqueni. Very, yeah, like, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous unit with their bows. And our last opponent today, deploying quite far away from his allies there, are, the House of Haleth. The House of Haleth. Yeah, love the faction. Didn't actually play them in any of these recent battles, but it's definitely one of my most fun factions to play. Definitely not my best faction, but it's a faction I really enjoy. Some of these Mardra, the dismounted version there, so just about everything, very sort of Rude Hour-esque in a lot of ways, everything can sort of throw something. The mounted variant here, two units? Yeah, two, maybe 3 units off them there. Definitely very sturdy cavalry force. Some more of those dismounted variant. In the back here, some dismounted dragoons for that arrow fire, and the Darwarda there as well. So, no doubt something more hidden. Of course, he's gone pretty deep into the cavalry, of course, with chariots there too, and this is, of course, J-Monster himself. But I suspect there's some more stuff hiding. We'll see. Anyway, starting off, we'll stick to 0.7 for now, just see these initial blasts going off, well, maybe 0.6, just see these initial catapult strikes going back and forth. Might have to go actually a little bit slower than that, just see the effectiveness of them. Eastron Nomads going down, I'm sure that Alfie's not going to be too upset with that. Charging forward with the Nomads, very good quick movement there, can sort of do some damage, but not going to wipe out that catapult crew. Be interesting to see if Alfie wants to go full-on aggression here, or if he wants to just try and skirmish away. You can see there was some artillery strikes coming out from Panthan into Stewie's forces, and Stewie is responding. Neither of these forces today can really move there. I mean, Stewie could tuck himself away if he really wanted to. Oh, and you can see, that's 2 artillery pieces from Stewie. Oy, very nice. Okay, so that is a lot of firepower. Even the dwarves are going to be struggling to match that. And you can see anything more popped up from J-Monster? Yes, quite a lot. Some Warda of Brethil there, just sort of more basic spearmen. Lots of more basic spearmen. The Freezeware of Brethil. It's a piece spear and shield, but with a bow out for now. Maybe a bit of a hybrid type unit. And more of these Mardra. I think that's that. So we'll go to 1 speed now, probably. And I think, yeah, you can see my initial movement. A few little bit of framiness there. You can see my initial movement. I'm trying to basically anchor myself up to these slopes. Maybe not go entirely back up my ally just yet, but at least anchor myself up there so that I can't get cut off from. Stop the more mobile forest humans there. I don't want to call them wild humans. Forest humans from getting around me as easily, especially with their extensive cavalry forces there. You can see J-Monster's got quite a few of them, all definitely quite effective. I've got no cavalry to try and match them. Let's actually go to 0. I don't know why the framiness is happening so much here. Maybe it's just the amount of artillery that's going back and forth. It's kind of causing my system to struggle just a little bit. But either way, Panthan's lost 2 of his artillery pieces in this little exchange. And in response, he has destroyed, one. He's destroyed 1, unfortunately, but he's been taking a fair bit. The High Thanes. We do not want to lose a High Thane. But still, I'm just in the maneuvering phase. Panthan's in the skirmish phase, but you can see over here on the far left, Alfie and his opponent, Buzzard, have gone full out for it now. Some raiders going back and forth, slamming around. The really aggressive forces of the House of Ulfang just tearing through some of this, but we've seen, all the way back in that free-for-all, the first fight that I'd done with Silmarillion in a long time, we saw just how stubborn the defensive forces of Gondolin can be. So the High Thane's kind of struggling here. Eastern tribes, though, a lot of numbers are holding this, but the amount of firepower, the amount of javelins and shots that are coming up and over into the likes of the catapult crew and the scouts of the tree, it's pretty dramatic. So even if he maybe loses the front line engagement, which it does look like right now he is going to, hopefully he's done enough damage to the back lines. And the Sons of Ulfang just outnumbering the Elves, especially the Elves of Gondolin, that are a bit lesser in number than some of the other Elven factions, and they do not have an ability to really shut down his cav. Now you see, the problem would be, because I have no cav to really mess with J-Monster, J-Monster could take his cavalry and go off to assist his ally. But that would mean he can't really use his cav to mess with me. I'm shooting him right now, I'm sort of blasting everything I got at these sort of much more lightly armoured, at least they're shielded from this assault right now to the left side, but I'm still hopefully going to be dropping a few of these horsemen. And it looks like J-Monster's kind of seeing my position, of course being a very strong defensive faction, Finarfin is not going to budge easy to this sort of attack, so I think he's realised that he can't maybe get through me here, and he is maybe going to move his cavalry over to assist his allies, which I think is probably a good idea. And as I say, I'm seeing this choke point. I love to have these choke point engagements. It's always so much fun for me. So I'm sort of trying to gear the fight toward that for my own my own entertainment. Over here, you see the High Thanes still sort of clashing away, not the High Thanes, sorry, but the Thanes of Ulfang, doing their best, but just definitely outmatched by the Elves of Gondolin. But at least being sort of a slightly higher tier there, they're holding out not too bad. A swarm of these strong tribesmen coming in with those sort of small falcons, just to, yeah, good little rear charge there. I think, although they may not be too impressive, I'm pretty sure the Eastern tribesmen actually do have a pretty menacing charge. So that would have been a tremendous amount of damage with that charge. And hopefully they can just sort of keep carrying that on. Even the phalanx of the king is suffering defeat there for me. I'm sure that was just a short-term thing, but it is kind of just showing how powerful the humans of Ulfang can be when they're in this sort of aggressive movement. Again, still doing some great work. We're missing a lot of the cav plays that Alfie is doing back here. The Despoilers seem to be quite enjoying their fight against the champions. Goodness me. I guess that AP from their falcons is really helping them out. And yeah, you can see just Buzzard, because Buzzard only really had those Lancers, he can't really use them to catch the enemy cav. Yeah, that's what we thought. That's what we feared even. J-Monster has sent his cavalry over here. Again, you know, we saw this in the last fight, the Hamlet fight. Because I'm not pressing him, because I'm not getting involved, he can move that cavalry. And again, I can't move something over anywhere near as easily. You can see I'm trying to be aggressive now with my archers. I'm trying to show Stewie, like, hey, oh, you pay attention to me. And, you know, but I really should be grabbing an infantry unit, maybe a few infantry units, and trying to rush them over there now, because, as I say, Alfie's going to be a bit outmatched now, as he's now got to deal with all of the enemy cavalry that's coming his way. He can no longer just sort of rely on his cav dominance. That catapult is still running. How many men are still on that catapult? Still 68 of them, so they're still pretty damn healthy, but gonna just have to try and just take whatever targets they can right now. Shield bearers pushing forward into the fangs of the Faithless, so hopefully they've used up a bit of their ammunition. If not, then they're gonna have to just be a melee fighting force shortly. But you see the front line is really starting to get thin for Ulfang. The cavalry was really what was allowing him to stay on an even footing. You see even Stewie's coming around. Stewie's sending the Sons of Hurin to come over and join this. So this is really, and we've not sent anything over to come and assist Alfie. I don't really have anything that could come over here quickly, is the issue. This is luckily Panthan has got something. Okay, I have sent something, but you can see how much longer it took me to get here than J-Monster. J-Monster's already been tearing people apart for the past 2 minutes, and I've only just got 2 infantry units that are coming over now to watch the end of the fight. But backing up the Vault Wardens is going to be a damn good help. Axe throwers there up against the Sons of Hurin. This is not going to be a fun fight for them. Of course, the Sons of Hurin are going to be able to sort of win that engagement, but is it really where you want to be using them? And especially with my javelins, I can come around, sort of get some javelins with the Sons of Hurin, and have a damn good time with that. And that's all I've really got. You can see over here the main engagement has started. Panthan's maybe been focusing on the other end for a minute, but now when the halberds come on forward, this should start to go very much in our favour. Nasty blast there. I wonder if that was the miners that got that one. Yep, some more artillery strikes coming into these poor dwarves. Yeah. Was running just running the risk of friendly fire, and that's a little bit of friendly fire from those miners. It looks like, if it is the miners causing these explosions, but either way, hopefully the stubborn dwarves are able to resist that, whatever is coming their way, and the human forces are going to be faltering. So again, this is when I need to, you can see I'm trying to just be, not so much be aggressive, but I'm trying to just keep Stewie's attention, maybe force him to send something over at me, but what I really should be doing right now is grabbing another 2 of my units and just sending them on into the middle. Getting my javelins used up while the swarm is really collected. The dwarves are loving this engagement. This is perfect for them. Unfortunately, you can see our catapult crew has been sent on in there, but they are just being sliced and diced. I love the sentries of Hithlin and the Fjordsmen of Dorloman. They're 2 really awesome units. Look great too. But fighting the dwarves in a tightly packed choke point, not a fun situation for anybody. So you can see over here, unfortunately, Alfie has, due to the cavalry, the wild cavalry forces of the House of Haleth, Alfie has been pretty much pushed out of the left flank now, and doesn't really have too much left. He's dealt a really stinging blow to Gondolin, and dealt some other kills here and there, of course, to the other factions, but he is just about finished. So now we are going to have to set up this left flank defense. Now I do have some troops here, but once again, it's really not enough. I should have been much more invested over in this area. Just 2 units, 1 swordsman and 1 defender is not enough for this. Not when I've got so many troops to spare. But you can start to see, of course, the Lancers as well. These Lancers are free. This is against Stewie's cavalry unit running riot around us. Axe throwers there, and miners still throwing all of this quite prestige. It's the amount of stuff blowing up back here. These poor Marines of Vinmar, I'm not going to get too close to that, because that is actually maybe going to crash me out. But absolutely crazy. So that is Alfie's Lord falling there. I see he doesn't have too much left to spare, but that's him wiped out. You can see Beast Hunters there, Axe Throwers here. We're not engaging. Again, I'm sending something over, but it's just sort of drips and drabs. What I should have done here is just maybe set up, held my defense, but really just held it with, say, a warden, a defender, and an archer unit, and then everything else should have come over here in a much more organized approach, just to make sure that they couldn't be as active with their cavalry. Well, hey, we managed to catch these Lancers again with the assistance of the Beast Hunters. I think, do the Beast Hunters have an anti-cavalry bonus? Is that their... They might. But yeah, either way, defenders certainly do. We've chased that off, dealt a good blow to them, but they're still kicking. My poor swordsman here, actually maybe going to get a charge against me. I think he did. It wasn't too... that actually was quite dramatic. Dear me, ouch. That was quite a short-range charge, but yeah, that could have caused a break to me, almost dead. But yeah, still doing okay into that fight. The scouts of the tree are hurting, and he's going to come in again. He's going to get another charge at me, and that is going to break me. Surely. No. Oh, it almost did. For some reason, the boys got that little morale boost just as they hit from something, so that's actually managed to keep them. But the defenders, I think I'm trying to get my... Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why I didn't send my defenders off to go and try and rinse the Lancers, because we're getting chased around by J-Monster's cavalry too. See over here, unfortunately these Beast Hunters breaking, and that's a big unit to lose, goodness sake. That's really hurting us. We'll go to 1 times speed now, because we've sort of not got as much to deal with. Again, so the only place that we are really winning, oh goodness, wow, is the middle now, and we're winning the middle, of course, due to dwarven power. I sent my pikes in, but my pikes have just been ripped open by artillery fire. But so while we're doing okay with our miners, they're doing quite well with these artillery strikes against us. But either way, this is going quite nicely for us. We're inflicting a lot of kills, but these are just the humans of Fingolfin. Certainly competent fighters, not fodder by any stretch, but not their real power. My defenders pouring some javelins in there now. You can see my Arqueni. Oh, okay, I thought these guys were on fire. Oy, it's just they're so bright. I thought that I'd just seen an artillery blast ruin them. More defenders coming over. Again, I'm sending over sort of bits and bits, but now that I'm quite fragile in this position, J-Monster's coming forward with his archers. I've got my own archers, of course. My archers of Talith Dernan are more than happy to have a little skirmish engagement for a minute, but if he comes forward with great numbers, he's going to be able to barrel through me now. And I really should have, you know, as I say, this is what I should have left behind far, far earlier. If I'd left this behind far earlier, maybe J-Monster would have had to put a lot more attention on me, and far less attention on my allies. Over here, yeah, you can see I'm sort of defending the left flank of Panthan. We're sort of pulling together and really denying the enemy the use of their cav by just sort of gathering up around that choke point a little bit. You can see over the far left here, we've basically been routed from this area, as Buzzard is coming around pretty hard with his remaining forces. Yeah, okay, no, it's primarily still a Gondolin push on this end, but just sort of assisted a little bit by some surviving allies, or some assisting allies that have come over here. And it's really just sort of a little Dwarven and Finarfin defense as best we can set it up. And yeah, now the issue is I've got these guys kind of left alone over there. Maybe if I'd grabbed them all and pulled them over to this area, we could have really set up quite a fearsome defense, say, from here to here, and then just kept battling away happily. But right now, the problem is these boys all the way over here, the Mysator Bridge Wards, all of these troops are just alone. Either way, having an okay little skirmish engagement right now, but this is going to change very quickly once J-Monster gets close with his javelins and the like. That's going to really hurt me. And of course, some of this really aggressive infantry that is coming flying forward. It looks like he's maybe splitting his force a little bit. Half of it's going to come face me. The other half's going to be coming around to continue the push up through the centre, as Stewie's forces have started to really collapse here now. Yeah, you're seeing some breaking happening across the line. Still a lot of damage coming in toward Panthan's troops, but we have had some success in the centre here. Still my javelins getting thrown out toward them. My swordsmen somehow getting caught out here by themselves, but it's not too... Oh no, this is where I'm setting up. Yeah, this is a defensive line. They're holding out against the axemen at the gate. Hopefully that numbers advantage is going to carry me through that. Looks like it. Some guardsmen of the heart coming forward there. Ooh, lots of little throwing coming from... what do you mean the scouts? Yeah, the scouts of the tree. I was just looking for where they were. Unfortunately, going into the back of my defenders, to be honest, I'd probably prefer them to go into the backs of the defenders rather than the Vault Wardens. But I'm responding to that. Going into the Guardsmen of the Heart, really should have picked the Phalanx of the King, but probably quite a lot of things pulling my focus away at the minute. You can see this cavalry push now is coming forward. I've surrendered that territory. I'm rushing back here, taking damage, taking shots to the back as I'm doing so. But we're just trying to gather up everything we've got now around this centre point. It is looking pretty dicey, but you've got to keep in mind we do still have a decent force of infantry, and our enemy's infantry is being bled. The only real fresh infantry forces they've got are the House of Haleth, which are very, they're great, and I love them. I love using them. They're not quite capable. Well, not quite as capable as good sort of mainline elven infantry, and especially not sort of dwarven infantry when you set up like that. I got quite scared for a second. I thought that was another son of well, whatever the elite is. I can't quite remember. But no, it's just the captain for the herdsmen of Hithlum. There with these dwarves that have pushed very deep in, but they're my defenders too trying to come and back them up. It looks like maybe get around for a little side charge there, perhaps. Of course, the defender's not known for their charging ability, but if I can just fully surround this, then we can maybe get a nice little break. And just we don't need much. We don't need much, but we need something. And we need something pretty big, to be honest. My wardens having a decent time there, but taking javelin fire. Continuing to sort of gather up, we're pulling even further back. We can no longer even sort of support this whole position to the center ruin. We're now just having to hold the entrance to that choke point. And a few of my poor guys, my poor bridge wards as well, have been left behind outside, gutting the cavalry very nicely, as they do, but seem to be trying to assist them. It's always the tough choice of, like, do you assist your troops that have fallen away, or do you try and just leave him. My archers there out of ammunition, fighting alongside the Arqueni. I saw the name of the Arqueni, but I can't quite see them. That capital crew breaking, that's great. Shield bearers there just about gone. Over on this far side, again, you can see where we're having these organised infantry fights. We're loving it. We're having a great old time when we can actually just go toe-to-toe with the enemy, but they're not really allowing us to do that, which is, of course, very sensible of them. They're using their javelins over here. We can't really do anything about that. If we try and push out at them, then, of course, the cavalry is just going to rinse us. So we kind of just have to tank this damage and just make sure that our shieldsmen, our shielded forces are taking it. Bridge wards here, not too many of them left, and I do seem to have them pretty much unsupported out here. So even the herdsmen of Hithlum are having quite a decent fight up against them. Archers there, seeming to be trying to come in for a little backstab against those shield bearers. Oh no!
His warriors will avenge him and not despair.
That's not great, so I just lost my general, but luckily the House of Finarfin should be pretty capable. You can see all of my elites are engaging there, my Arqueni down to 26, my Sartor, we saw how fearsome the Sartor can be, although how resistant they can be in some previous fights. See, I think Finarfin definitely seems to be a bit of a favourite for a lot of people, which I understand, especially of course in defensive situations. It's kind of what they're good at. My defenders here, they did try and perform a little bit of a flanking attack, tried to get a break. Let's see, if I could have broken this force with that rear charge and sort of those rear attacks, that would be absolutely brutal, but we could not do so. And now the Warda are here, and yes, we're not long for this world out in this little push. Which once that breaks, okay, there's more dwarves coming in, but it's just scraps. And once that sort of does falter, it's not going to look pretty. My archers here, rattling shots into the enemy cavalry, still very numerous. J-Monsters Cav. Over on this end, oh, swordsmen unfortunately breaking. Let me just find something. I'm just going to take a quick gulp of tea as we go enjoy this little battle.
The enemy warlord lies dead. Now
Right.
his men
Generals
can
dropping
sense
is
their
always a good
doom
thing, but that
upon
is
them.
the general of Gondolin. We already, most of his forces were just about gone anyway, poor buzzard. So losing his general is not going to change the game too much, but has allowed me to have a quick little counter charge there against the Arqueni. But I think the Arqueni still definitely not the Arqueni, the Sartor. No, the Arqueni Findicano, whereas my Arqueni are the Arqueni Mormagil. Yes, so both Arqueni. I didn't just use the word Arqueni because it's quite an easy one to say and it's quite a nice one to say. But I do need to be careful when we've got that cavalry unit on the field. Over here, Halberdiers, the Sons of Hurin, that's what I was thinking about before. Oh, dearie me. And it is starting to, you can see we're being split apart now, and it really is just relying on the quality of our infantry to hopefully win this for us now. As we have been, our formation has been pulled apart. Oh, dearie me, that's a big break, unfortunately, from those Iron Guardians. Breezeware of Brethil will be more than happy to catch those guys and make sure they do not come back from routing.
Our brave warriors have killed our foe's general. Now
There's
his
a
men will
general
fear
that
us.
went down near my
Our foe is broken.
not my
Watch
bridge
how these
wards, sorry,
weaklings run.
my wardens.
Hunt them down.
From my wardens Nargothrond. I wonder whose general that was. Must have been J-Monster. But quite bold for J-Monster to be throwing his general in that early. And you can see here where we were the strongest, we are now starting to get shattered as the wildly aggressive glass cannon forces of Haleth are pouring themselves down through this choke point. My bridge wards set up, but on slightly slanted terrain, they're not really going to be as useful. Backed up by the defenders, we should be able to do some good work. But that's as long as we don't get surrounded. You see the ward have already come all the way around, getting into the axe throwers. My dwarven allies getting surrounded there. We've still got some units, some reserves, the wardens coming in to try and catch this unit. But just about everything I've got is now engaged, and it is just, as I say, it's coming down to the luck of the individual soldiers at this point. Just can we maybe get a break on some of these attackers? You can can see some guys maybe come back from routing. Yeah, some Iron Guardians, but I mean, out here there's not too much they can do. Maybe get a quick little surprise attack on these Dragoons, but no, I think J-Monster's being quite careful. Just eliminating them bit by bit out there. Over here, defenders of Talith Dernan breaking. Warda's still happy enough. I think really this is the only serious position of resistance I've got. Just on that slope. Now, of course, if we're on flat ground, maybe it would be a bit better, but at this time we can't really get that multiple ranks of combat going on, so it is just kind of each individual fighting for himself pretty much, as we're just being pressed by the overwhelming numbers of our attackers. I think there's some javelins still coming into us. Maybe a shot too. We'll see what more else. I think there are a few options. But yeah, just got one more Silmarillion fight to do of the old battles. And then I will get my updated Silmarillion. So by the time that this releases, we should certainly have that updated. I should have been hopefully recording some newer Silmarillion, but we'll see. Anything can happen. My Wardens, again, they're so impressive, but being surrounded like this, especially receiving javelin fire, cavalry charge on the back, I do not blame them. To be honest, fighting to the death, they might kill a cavalry. When you're fighting to the death, your stats are basically nothing. So you die very, very quickly, and you don't actually do anywhere near your full damage. But considering how much of a bonus you get when you're stabbing a cavalryman, then you will still see the occasional guy drop to it. So either way, Sartor still kicking. Quick little backstab to the herdsman, but at this point it really is just not so much being stubborn, just being bitter, I guess. As we've still got Panthan's got this little sledgehammer of dwarven might, getting thrown back and forth, doing some good work up against these men of Haleth. Over here, Iron Halberdiers catching one or two Dragoons. Oh, that Dragoon just barreled right through them. Stopping a few more there. Yeah, we'll just get settled over here, I think. But yeah, once again, kind of similar situation to what we had with the Hamlet. And it just kind of shows why you really want to have a couple of units of cav. You know, in a perfect world, I like 2 units of cavalry. For me, that's my sort of happy place. Maybe 3. No, three I quite like. But of course, the Finarfin does not really have any. But if I had, 2 units of cav, I would maybe rush them over there, tried to sort of lessen the effect of J-Monster. Because had we been able to get over there and assist Alfie, and help Alfie maintain his cavalry dominance over here, then this maybe would have changed the game. What I really should have done, as I say, as soon as I took this defensive position over here, I'm not going against that. I think that was a good move. But what I should have done is immediately taken a third of my army and moved it left. Just left 2/3, just so that, of course, the bulk of... So that basically J-Monster knew he couldn't charge me straight away. But if I sent a full third of my army, just running over, to be honest, running over toward Alfie, or maybe even toward Panthan, so that Panthan could have then sent something in my place, then we could have really pressed Gondolin, come in pretty hard, and maybe even wiped out Gondolin before Alfie was taken out. Because it really was, Alfie was on a roll. He was doing some great damage, but it was just suddenly Alfie's fight became a 1v3, and that was a bit too much for him to handle, which is fair enough. I think as well, lacking the artillery was a bit of an issue for us. I think I should have maybe grabbed I'm just never really confident with artillery. I used to always take it. I used to always be an artillery man, but no, it's just not really my thing anymore. But I think had I had an artillery piece, maybe that would have changed the game. But you can just see the resilience of our troops here. I've not really given an order for a very, very long time, and we are just sort of doing our best to hold out, and it is taking them a very long time to kill us. What's going on over here? Is my Sartor maybe? No, it's some bridge wards. Oh, funny. Oh yeah, he pulled back from the slope. My bridge wards came down, and they were still up for the fight. As long as they don't break, to be honest, the bridge wards will really enjoy that, because we're just stabbing these guys in the back. So their defensive skill is pretty. I think is halved. If you're being charged from behind, I think your defensive skill is halved, or it's gone. I can't quite remember if it's fully removed or it's halved. Either way, we're racking up some kills there, up against J-Monster's units, as he's focusing much more on wiping out the Dwarves, it seems. Ah dear, break from the Vault Wardens there, and another break from, it's now just really the High Thanes remaining. Oh, some cavalrymen popped up, or dead horses really just appearing there. But yeah, no, the High Thanes digging in. There's not that much in the way of like actual elite infantry. I know the Durwarda are damn good, but they're not quite elite, you know. So it's not, we're in a million miles of all these. I mean, again, they're not elite. They're very nice. The Waldstriker. Sure. I had the Haleth names pretty well done before, because as I say, I used to play them quite a bit. They do take center stage in the next fight. As I say, the next fight is the very last one. It's very funky. It's a bit of an odd one, for sure. I know we don't get an ending battle stream to it, but it's a very interesting fight nonetheless. So I may release it on a Friday. As I say, I sort of explained it in the previous thing. If a video is sort of released on a Friday, usually means, well, yeah, it usually will mean that there's something about it that I'm not super happy with, you know. If a video releases on a Sunday, it means, yes, that is the video for the week. Don't know if I'll be able to really maintain much of a schedule. I'm gonna try it for a bit, but we'll see. I'll do a little announcement if something drastically changes in my life, but right now things are, yes, unfortunately I have a bit more free time than I want. But yeah, that's the way these things go now and again. So we'll have a little look through. You can see, of course, Panthan just tearing people apart there, doing some real work for us. So Sartor, not racking up a massive kill count, but that's of course what they're not there to get kills. They're there to stand their ground. You can see some of my poor swordsmen really just not being used fully effectively. 11 kills for one of those swordsmen is such a shame. Some defenders there. 152 from one of those defenders is pretty good. A lot of that will be javelins, of course. And this bridge ward, poor 51, that's such a shame. But 211 is not so bad at all, and the archers doing the best they can. So, all in all, as I say, I think those are my general, ways that I would have tried to improve. Is just getting a lot more invested in my allies' fights far earlier. And I think that really could have worked some wonders for us, and maybe forced J-Monster to come in for a much earlier charge against me. You know, I think that would have, if I forced him to come in for that early charge, maybe we pulled his cavalry back, could have possibly saved some Valky's power. But all in all, very fun fight. I'm a huge fan. Whenever we've got a situation like this choke point, it's just so cool. You know, I love whenever you've got, say, 3 armies or even 2 armies, and you're forcing them into the space that normally you would have 1 army fighting. You know, it's just, yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, cool. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you later.